Cedric Andrus is the interim police chief for now, and he's got a lot of work ahead of him. His department has morale issues, and even he was accused of creating a hostile work environment. But Andrus told me in just the 3 short months he's been in the chief's chair, he's repairing relationships by doing things the chiefs before him didn't.
I think my role as an acting chief is important for me to make sure that the department understands my heart.
Deputy Chief Cedric Andrus dropped the deputy in March.
Transitioning as the police chief has been pretty busy job, but it's been very rewarding.
Just like the rest of his 28-year law enforcement career.
And working in New Orleans, I worked in some of our housing developments, what we call back then housing projects.
The projects were tough. So was Hurricane Katrina.
Seeing a lot of the devastation that happened there. Those things, too, have also helped me to grow as a leader.
Chief Andrus was a New Orleans police officer for 7 years. In 2005, he went to the Arlington Police Department in Texas. That's where he met former Henderson Police Chief Letitia Watson.
So we worked together for about 13 and a half years at the city of Arlington. I worked with Letitia in several different capacities there. So we were colleagues. Obviously, when Letitia had an opportunity to come to Henderson, I think she knew my background in field operations as it relates to geographic-based policing. And she offered me an opportunity to come and join her here.
Watson brought Andrus on as her deputy chief, even though he had a controversial past.
I was brutally attacked.
In 2014, Andrus shot and killed a man while he was off duty. A grand jury agreed he acted in self-defense.
To be brutally attacked with your wife watching, to be beaten unconscious, is something that has allowed me as a police chief to really understand the importance of victims' rights.
His friend, colleague, and the first African-American woman to lead the Henderson Police Department was fired in April. We still don't know why. The city never told the community why the previous chief, Patrick Moores, left either. Is that fair to the community?
You know, I think from the perspective with the community, I believe our community may have an interest in wanting to understand why both of those leaders left. That's really a decision that came from our city management office.
The city attorney hired a law firm to investigate more than a dozen complaints against Watson. Andrus' name was in there too.
When I see claims like that, it's very disturbing because they don't remotely describe who I am as a law enforcement executive.
Someone sent an anonymous email to the mayor and city manager saying Watson and Andrus created a hostile work environment.
But I will tell you that it's something that right now the city attorney's office is looking into. I can tell you that I believe in my track record. And my track record has always been one of inclusiveness, one of engagement.
Being an engaging leader is how Andrus plans to move the department forward.
So just recently as Friday, I was riding out for a few hours on patrol with an officer. And during those contacts and getting out of the car with him and discussing his day-to-day job and what's important to him.
Andrus told me he rides along with patrol officers.
I think the most important thing when it comes to leadership is to ensure that our officers have a voice, that they have an avenue to the chief's office.
Do you feel like that avenue has been there?
I think that the city has always done a great job of providing resources.
The department is getting used to a new crime-fighting plan known as geographic-based policing. Officers, lieutenants, and captains are assigned to a beat.
We have been better at now forecasting where crime is, and we've actually had some wins in crime reduction as it relates to property crime. We're also seeing our violent crime and seeing some reduction in those areas.
In other areas,
we had a complaint of some young men in the street playing hockey. Our officers showed up and talked about the importance of traffic safety, but we also were able to share in a game of hockey with the youth.
Even with these small victories, Andrus knows the department needs work.
I believe right now the organization needs calm and civility. I will assure you that I am the person that will bring that to the organization. And I do that because I will always lead with my heart.
If Andrus sticks around as chief, he has more plans for Henderson. He wants to add another police and fire station on the far west side of the city where a lot of people are moving. He would also like to hire more officers. Kylie Geeler, Fox 5 News, Local, Las Vegas.